We can end this now. I'm Jessica Denson, and this is Lights On. Welcome to Lights On. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to the Jessica Denson YouTube channel where you are watching this. Boy, am I excited about our show today. We have Ken Casey, lead singer of the Dropkick Murphys, joining us live from Europe. He's in France right now, about to do their last show of their European tour before they come back to join us live in Washington, D.C. at Remove the Regime. 1 week out, folks. Everybody has been asking who is going to stand up, who is going to come forward and save us. Well, we, the people, are going to save ourselves. There has never been a better moment to seize on than what we are living through right now. Donald Trump is in free fall over the Epstein revelations, these disgusting, absolutely vile emails coming out of the trove of emails released from the Epstein estate before even the discharge petition has gone to a full vote to release the full Epstein files. And we are getting confirmation of what we have known for years, that Donald Trump is implicated in the crimes of Jeffrey Epstein. He knew about them. He very, very likely participated in them. This is someone who is an adjudicated sexual predator, a convicted felon, someone who tried to overturn the will of the people when we had an election, incited a violent insurrection, and just today, the one criminal case that remains open against him in Georgia got a new prosecutor and will move forward. This is insane that we have gotten to this point with Donald Trump, where we are living under an illegal presidency by a man who is wholly unqualified on so many levels. His own very, very loyal core right now of MAGA is breaking ranks. They are understanding finally just how politically liable it is going to be for them to not support the full release of the Epstein files, even as he goes out and asks his corrupt Attorney General Pam Bondi to investigate the crimes of the Democrats tied to Jeffrey Epstein. I will tell you one thing. I fully believe that there are not just Republicans and Donald Trump implicated in those files. I think that it is exposing a vast network of corruption in our political system. One of those vile emails that I referenced was from Tom Barrack. Tom Barrack, who is Donald Trump's current ambassador to Turkey, who wrote in an email to Jeffrey Epstein, or Jeffrey Epstein wrote to him, "Send me pictures of the child. Send me pictures of the child," as they were joking about all of the press questions that came to them about their network of very high up people, including themselves and Donald Trump and Bill Clinton. These are the kind of people that are running our country and the world, and it is absolutely obscene. It is absolutely obscene that this has gotten this far. If there is a silver lining, I believe, to all of this and all of that we're suffering and all of that our neighbors who are being abducted off our streets are suffering, and the people whose SNAP benefits are being cut, and the fired federal workers, and all of the terrorism that this country has endured, the silver lining is that we are getting to clean out the rot that has been festering under the surface for so long. This is an opportunity for us to do that. It has never been better, but we do have to seize it. We have such a finite period to save American democracy from disappearing before our eyes. It's not going to save itself. We have to do it. And that is what 1122 is all about. My guest today has been so outspoken in his field, in music, calling on other artists to do what he does. And I am so grateful and honored that they have lended their voice and their talent to what we have coming up next week. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming to Lights On Ken Casey. Ken, welcome to the show.
Hi, good to be here. Thanks for having me, Jessica.
Such a pleasure. Such a pleasure. I mean, let's just start off with most of us know who you are very well, but how did you find yourself being so outspoken about what's happening in politics right now?
I mean, when the band started in '96, one of the main subject matters we kind of sung about was just trying to be the voice of the working class, voice of organized labor, just singing about regular people being screwed over and over again throughout time, throughout history.
Yeah,
And that's been a theme throughout our lyrics for the whole time we've been a band. We've also just been involved in a lot of social justice stuff. The punk rock scene in general, especially, in the older days, when we were coming up, was always had this, division of the anti-racist skinhead versus the racist skinhead. And our shows were oftentimes somewhat um, the meeting place for those confrontations. And
yeah,
obviously we stood with the anti-racist skinheads, which is the majority of the skinhead movement in the music scene. Obviously the general public sees the right wing ones, but I will say that we've had this issue from the start, and I honestly thought it was like beaten back, and now you see racists are openly marching down the streets of America with swastika flags. You see working people being replaced by robots, surveillance system come. I mean, this is not the America that I'm proud to be a part of. So I just feel like the band, if we've been speaking up for far smaller injustices over the course of our 30-year career, why in God's name will we be quiet now?
now. Yeah,
And the difference, we were involved in speaking out in the Bush era, and we were on some, musical compilations and everything. But, you know, nowadays, for people to speak out, the MAGA movement took the airwaves, just because they're so loud and they're so willing to double down on the lies and the misinformation, um, that people have oftentimes just been like, I don't want to be, have their target on my head. And we've always just felt like it was our duty to speak up. And a band that has a very large white working class audience, we've been on the front lines of it. A lot of people who were lockstep with us in everything we said throughout the
up
course of
until
our
then.
up until 2015, and everything started to shift. And
Yeah,
um, so I try to always have this open mind to the best of my ability to not to say it's us versus them. It's like you've been misled.
that's
You've
what I
been
always say. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm you're talking to a former Trump supporter, somebody who was brainwashed like I think many of those fans of yours are to this day. And I am always saying, we're not against you. We're actually for you. We're on your side. Like you said,
yeah.
you've been for the working class of this country for years, for decades. And Donald Trump is just a phony who has duped these people into thinking that he's for America, he's for freedom, he's for anything that they actually care about.
I mean,
Um,
sometimes it's just a matter of what household you live in. Who does who controls the TV clicker in your house?
yeah,
Do they watch Fox? You know what I mean? And if they watch
that's
these
it.
channels, you might not have had a chance to know anything different.
Yeah.
And so I do my best to try to, you know, not be antagonistic about it, but obviously sometimes you have to also be loud. Like Woody Guthrie, one of Woody Guthrie's lyrics is, 10 times more. Like you gotta be if you have to be 10 times louder than a fascist or a dictator or an authoritarian or someone who's anti-union. You have to be loud because they use that tool of being loud. So you got to be louder.
You have to. You have to. We
Yeah.
have to. We have to hijack their playbook. I mean, this is what we've been. A lot of us have been saying for so long. They are shameless in their propagation of lies and lawlessness and racism and fascism. We have to at least match that energy on the side of like democracy and real freedom and truth, at least. And you talk about artists, and I come from the arts too. I'm an actor. I worked in film and television, and you see certain people come out now and they speak out, kind of in certain ways. You had a lot of celebrities that came out and endorsed No Kings, and they'll do things in certain ways. But I am always feeling, and I don't know about you, Ken, but I'm always feeling like you just said, you need to be louder. Like, it's not enough. If there were more people like you willing to endorse a message like this, that Donald Trump actually needs to be removed from office now, I mean, how powerful would that be to shift what's happening to destroy our democracy right now?
And that's why we speak out, because I just feel like, we're trying to tempt other artists to say,
Yeah.
well, they're still going. It hasn't ended their career. Mega definitely told us we were we were canceled, by the way. They let us know we're canceled, but here we are. So I think that power to cancel people is fading. But like I said, I don't think any one person has the power, but like in our field, if we step out first, maybe someone will follow. Maybe they won't. But I know this, that at the end of the day, I'm not going to have any regrets. When this is all over and people say, "What did you do?" I don't want to say I didn't do anything. I was afraid of losing a few fans. So I'll put my head on the pillow, knowing I did the right thing, and the rest of my bandmates did the right thing, and hopefully it all works out in the end. And I'll be there. I'm excited to. Another thing about these gatherings is it's like it's really nice to be around like-minded people that are also, because sometimes when you're out and about, and sometimes you feel like, geez, are we so much in the minority? Because MAGA is so loud,
Yeah.
but we're not. We are the
No.
majority. Most people don't
Yes.
want this.
No,
And
they don't.
so,
I know.
yeah,
That's
and,
the
and
whole
we
point.
need and we need to remind people that we are the
Yes.
majority. And you know, I'm not here to wave the flag for any politician. Like I really, from as far as I'm concerned, burn it all to the ground and let's
Yeah.
start over.
It's kind of what I was
Let's
talking
let's
about.
take let's take out all the foreign influence from Israel. Let's take out all the lobbyists. Let's make it for the people. Like
Yeah.
my politics should not be thought of as radical. It's just like, let's look out for regular people. If people need a hand up, um, let's give them a hand. And why are we all more willing to vilify someone on Snap or that needs a little bit of assistance, and let all these billionaires skate with screwing us over time and time again? Why is that the dynamic? I will never know, and most of us will never know. But
Yeah.
there's far more chance that you, I, or anyone else will end up on Snap than will become a billionaire. So, um, I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's kind of, that refrain that we always reference from World War II and the Holocaust. They came for these people and I wasn't one of them, and they came for them and I wasn't them. And then nobody was left and they came for me, right? You
Yeah.
can the Fox Newses of the world have done such a evil job of demonizing the other and making it look like there's some other enemy out there, when, as you said, it's these literal billionaires who couldn't care less about the people that are just profiting, sickly profiting off of this division and this contrived, hatred of one another that doesn't need to exist. I was reading a ProPublica article from last night, Ken, of just one of these really egregious raids that happened in Chicago of an apartment building where they claimed that they were going to get Tren de Aragua gang members. And of course, that's what
Mm.
they have been claiming over and over again. And they ended up taking all of these people, several of them American citizens, putting them in zip ties. Not a single one of them has, to this point, been charged with a federal crime. But several of them who fled their native home and fled Venezuela have been sent back there. We know these horrific stories about people being sent to places like Sudan, to CCOT. I mean, this is terrorism. They're conducting extrajudicial killings in the Caribbean, claiming that these are drug cartels, but that's not the way it works in America. We have a judicial system. We don't just execute people over allegations. I mean, this is a murderous regime we're dealing with.
The guardrails are off, and I'd love to see this man removed. But at the very least, if the pressure's ramped up, and you know, in 2028, 2026, we can take back a little bit of control and put some guardrails back on against this man. Like, that's the very least we can hope for. The best we can hope for is, like you said, a removal. But it's going to take some people with a spine in the government to stand up. And it never ceases to amaze me, the lack of spine,
Mm.
that people have. But as these revelations continue to come out, whatnot, eventually even the people who are still only caring about their own best interest might start to say, I got to distance myself from this
Yeah.
guy. And maybe, not for any heroic reason, but if they distance themselves, it might benefit us all. So,
Yeah, well, that's what this is all about. I know you're going to be with us on the 22nd. We're starting on the 20th, where we expect to break the record for the most people that have ever lobbied Congress. And we are going there with one explicit demand: impeach Donald Trump now. Back articles of impeachment. We're going to march over to the Capitol with Representative Al Green. Like you said, I mean, these are just people. Sometimes it seems like you think of our whole country, the whole future of our democracy being held hostage by a few spineless cowards in Washington. And I just refuse to accept the conclusion that we, the people, in our massive majority, cannot peacefully pressure a handful of mere mortals in DC.
hmm,
Like, I just don't accept that premise. So that's what this is all about changing. I mean, taking our power back and putting the pressure where it belongs.
I'm happy to be a part of it, and thank you guys all for all the hard work you're doing to make this happen. So I hope everyone out there appreciates the work that all the people behind the scenes are doing, and show up and get out there. You know, this doesn't happen if the people don't show up. We can do all the work we want, but if the people don't show up, the change won't happen.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we've been doing like crazy. We've been trying to get people to show up. You have been incredible in bringing your voice, your talent, your platform to this and promoting it for us. For those of you who haven't seen Ken, when we did our first montage of all the people that are showing up with us, Ken had this blown up giant on a screen behind him. Where were you, in Helsinki at the time?
Helsinki, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and did a promo for us. But I'm just going to take a moment, and Cliff and I are going to talk about this when he comes on. But we need people in the media. We need people, like we have done so much grassroots work. There is no national indivisible behind this particular action. There's no major national group. This is 100% ground up. We need these bigger voices in media, like Rachel Maddow. We need Rachel Maddow. I'm talking to you, Rachel Maddow, to talk about this protest when she does her show on Monday. We need Anderson Cooper to talk about this. We need the ladies on The View to talk about this. We need Jimmy Kimmel, who I'm a huge fan of, who all the country came out to support to get his job back. We need Jimmy Kimmel to say there's going to be a massive protest on November 22nd in Washington, D.C. with a clear demand: show up for your country, show up on November 22nd. We need these voices. We shouldn't be doing this alone, and we got to get to them. We've been trying really hard, but we need these voices with massive, massive platforms to start talking about what we're doing, because that's what's going to make the difference. if we can show up in numbers too big to ignore, and I've been very clear about this, Ken, like, I don't want to wake up the next day and things go back to normal. I want us to wake up the next morning after 11/22 and feel like there's been a seismic shift around the world, because the whole world is recognizing that the American people are demanding that this administration has to go.
Well, you and Cliff get me fired up. I mean, you make me want to just, like, man, I appreciate how you guys inspire people because, that's sometimes the difference between getting someone out of their comfortable couch and out the door. I just I have the utmost respect for anybody who's shown up to any protest. But man, if these aren't growing, and listen, that's exactly what Donald Trump and his regime want. They want to flood the zone. They want to, just tire people out. They want people to give up. Say, I
Yeah.
protested, nothing changed. Why should I go to the next one? It's like, you need to go to the next one to make sure this ball keeps rolling. I heard someone saying today something about from the time that the Nixon, stuff came out until he was gone was like over 2 years. So like even something like that, the momentum had to gain, and we really need to keep the momentum up. And I take motivation by saying, think about all, our grandparents and all these people that went and fought and gave their lives, and
Yeah.
we're gonna just be to America now is just gonna be like, I'm kind of comfortable. It hasn't come for me yet, and I still like ordering stuff from Amazon and sitting on my couch. No, like,
Mm.
don't disrespect all the people that came before us and fought so hard for our freedoms. So that's my main motivation.
Yeah, those who fought for our freedoms, those who have sacrificed. One big component of Remove the Regime is veterans. We have veteran partners in the removal coalition, like Sons of Liberty, like 5051 vets. I know you have so many veterans that come to your show
Mhm.
and are a huge part of your fan base. I mean, to me, this is fundamental in in saving our country and communicating this message, because these are people who have, like you said, put their lives on the line for our Constitution to make it
Yep.
a living, breathing document. And those people in Washington have sworn an oath to the same document that ensures our freedom. And when they don't do everything that they possibly could to protect it and defend it, I think there's nobody better than veterans to remind them just how lacking they are right now.
There's a lot of good veterans involved in this, and I'm excited to see them all and stand beside them on that stage.
Yeah, a lot of them very excited to meet you, Ken. I will tell you that. Very excited.
Cool.
Well, I know, my friend, that you have to head out. You've got a bus to catch. Um, I'm so excited for you. You've got your last show tomorrow night in Paris. Will you announce to the world in Paris that you're going to be in DC for the Remove the Regime?
Hell yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I
But don't
love it.
worry, I do a lot of talking about the state of America no matter where you.
I love that. Give me one last word on the sentiment that you have gotten from around the world on what's going on in our country right now. Uh-oh. Did we lose Ken?
In
Uh,
America. I'm back. Can you hear
okay,
me?
okay. I can hear you now.
I feel like it's important to be a voice of letting the rest of the world also know that, hey, what you see on the news about America, that's not all of us. That's not how we believe. Because you got to remember, a lot of these countries are teetering on going into the same
Yep,
authoritarian control as we are.
yep,
So the fight is very much on their doorstep too, and they're watching how it goes in America. So I feel like it's very important to take this message around the world, actually.
yep. They're fighting the same battles, and we need each other. We all have to do this. So thank you so much, Ken. I'll let you get on your bus, and I can't wait
Thank
to
you.
meet you next week, my
All
friend.
right. See you next week. Thank you.
See you. Bye-bye. So we are just waiting right now on Cliff. He should be with us in just a few minutes. I got to tell you, this is such an incredible moment to be part of. He talked about the solidarity and what you feel like when you come to one of these protests. You get reinvigorated. You understand that the agency that we have, and this is especially what is so distinct and important about Remove the Regime, is we're not going there just to say that we have the right to show up. We're going there saying we have the right to demand and control our government, which we do. It is we, the people, who are in charge in this country. And it has been seemed to be the other way for far too long. It is time to reclaim that power, to reclaim that agency. I'm going to go through a few of the events just while we're waiting for Cliff. And actually, I will tell you right now, I have not announced it officially on this show before. We are locked in at the Lincoln Memorial on Saturday. So we have a very iconic location. We had not previously publicized it, but now we can. We will be at the Lincoln Memorial at noon on Saturday. An epic backdrop. With your help, tens of thousands of people will join us there, and we will hear from the Dropkick Murphys. We will hear Earth to Eve, other incredible resistance artists, very, very talented. You've heard her songs all over Instagram. And we will rally and then march through the streets of Washington to bring our peaceful pressure, unrelenting, unmistakable, to the seat of power where they are. I just saw Cliff enter the studio. He's wearing his favorite anti-MAGA hat, looks like. Cliff, welcome to Lights On, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So we just had Ken Casey on. Can you do me a favor? Can you rotate your phone?
I can. How's Ken? Is he in Europe?
He's in France. Yep. They're about to do their last show tomorrow in Paris before they come back.
France knows how to protest. They should come over here and give us some lessons.
I didn't get my paycheck this week from Antifa, Cliff. Where is it?
Call George Soros. I'm sure he's on top of it, being that he's only 95 years old. Isn't it funny? I was just thinking about all the gaslighting from the right, and they're constantly talking about George Soros, while one of Donald Trump's right-hand men worked for George Soros. It's like, you guys are always complaining about us taking money from George Soros, and literally one of the top people in Trump's circle is a former George Soros money manager, and it's unbelievable.
It's just they take people for complete fools, Cliff. I mean, they know what they're saying is complete horseshit, and they're just trying to mislead the masses. Eve, by the way, did you hear Earth to Eve's new song?
No.
Oh, she has a great new song out called about gaslighting, and it's perfect. I mean, this girl
Man, all of her music is good, but those two most well-known political songs are just absolute fire. I mean, so good. Yeah, yep. I'm really excited to see her perform live and to meet her. I already liked the music, but I've been really listening to her a lot since we found out she was on board, and I'm a huge fan now.
Yeah, me too. So I was kind of starting off the show just talking about what a perfect moment this is for us to seize on, with the cracks that are forming in MAGA over the Epstein disclosures. They really finally, it seems to realize, Cliff, have nowhere they can run from this.
Yeah.
And are going to be breaking ranks when that final vote happens. Tell me why you think this moment really tees us up for what we're doing next week.
Well, the long answer is, I think this should have happened like in last November. I mean, this country should have never let this guy back into our White House. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of the reason that we haven't really known how to respond or behave is because so many of us, and myself included, I don't mind admitting it, we are so privileged and so sheltered, and we are so used to living in a country where fascism, at least bold and undisguised fascism, hasn't really ever been or I should take that back, hasn't really been a factor in our lifetimes, at least not for privileged white people. You know what I mean? People, minorities and women and the LGBTQIA community, like they've faced all kinds of discrimination and terrible behavior and treatment. But I think a lot of Americans are newly exposed to this, and it's like, wait, what? This can't. He can't
I
be
know.
president. This can't
Yeah.
happen. What can we do? So I think people were just kind of stunned and in a state of shock. Um, and these multiple No Kings days have sort of culminated in bigger and bigger turnouts, and I think that's great momentum. And so, while I wish this would have happened a long time ago, there's definitely never been a better time than right now, and there never will be a better time than right
No,
now.
that's very true.
Now is always the time to act, because even when the future comes, it comes as now. But yeah, I've been telling people my little kind of slogan I've been quoting is, this regime is a monster, but it's a wounded and stumbling monster. And this guy is on the ropes. And when your opponent is on the ropes, you don't take a water break, you throw an uppercut. And this protest, this political action, this event really could be that uppercut. But the key element is we need people to step up and show up and donate and spread the word. And there's a lot of ways that people can do that. I'm sure we'll talk about that as we go on.
Yeah, what you just said is this could be the moment, and taking that all into consideration, what this kind of like this moment that we have built and been working so hard for, together with what the cracks that seem to be breaking, everything that is on the line, whether or not this event turns a page like you and I want it to, like everybody involved behind the scenes really wants it to, depends on how big it can be. And that's why I will hold every single person with a public platform accountable for whether or not they put us on the map.
Totally.
So
Totally.
I have named some names on this show so far before you came on. One person, I need to talk about this, and I need our audience to make this very loud, make your own video, tag, whatever you need to do. I need Rachel Maddow very specifically to talk about this on her show on Monday night. She has been
100%.
great at talking about all of the protests that happen, whether they're on a tiny street corner in Fairbanks, Alaska, or, Alabama, or wherever. We need her. We need Rachel Maddow,
Excuse me.
after Clef sneezes, to talk about Remove the Regime on her show on Monday night. Tell people what is happening. Just like I remember the night that she announced the second No Kings. She said, it's in the works, it's happening. This has been in the works for several weeks, at least a month now. We haven't heard her talk about it. We need Rachel Maddow to talk about Remove the Regime, the DC only protest with an explicit demand for impeachment and removal that we, the people, are putting on 11/22.
And here's the thing. I think Rachel will talk about it. We need our fans and followers and supporters. We need all of you to email her. If 100 people email her about November 22nd, she'll talk about it. I guarantee you. So we are doing all that we can. And I know that you guys want to help. And this is what we are telling you, that you can help do that. Rachel Maddow is I think I agree that would be the most important person that we could reach. And I want to say, while we're talking about her, personally, huge fan, probably my favorite political voice in journalism. I think she's really, really brilliant. I would vote for her for president, to be honest. The way that she talks about current events and ties them into historical events. She's so knowledgeable and she's such a great communicator. I would be honored to have something I'm working on mentioned by her. But and either of us would love to go on the show. But our main concern is we want the event mentioned. This is
Put it
not
on the
about
map. Put it on the
this is
map.
not about us. It's not about clout or ego or money or any of that. We are out here busting our asses for months and months and months. And it's not lucrative and it's not fun. I mean, sometimes it's fun because you get to be friends with people, but none of us are doing this because we don't have better stuff to do. I keep telling people, like, I'm not trying to sound cool, but I have a really, really good life, and I would really like to get back to it.
Yeah.
I miss my time with my family. I miss putting this amount of energy into my career instead of this activism. But those are really small sacrifices when kids are getting their moms ripped away from them and innocent people are being sent to death camps. And that's who I'm doing this for. Is, I'm a middle-aged, middle-class, straight white Southern dude. Uh, Everybody's going to lose rights under this regime, but people like me will lose the least. But
Mhm.
I'm not fighting for me.
For
I'm
ourselves.
fighting for women and
Yeah.
for the LGBTQIA community, for people of color, for economically disadvantaged people. Um, and I just see these people as wicked. I see them as truly evil, callous, cruel, uh, despicable people. And I just don't want such a wonderful country of wonderful people governed by people who are so terrible.
No, I don't either. And I don't want American democracy and everything that has been sacrificed up until now for this country that I love so much that I was on the wrong side of things for a while there, Cliff, but I loved the same thing then, and that's freedom. Okay. I
Yeah.
love this country deeply. I have unbelievable respect for those who came before us and sacrificed for this. And I know, as flawed as we are, that there is no country in this world like the United States of America. That when you step foot in this country, and I get pushback sometimes when I say this because people are like, "What about all these other countries with much more freedom than we have?" That you can't replace America. Okay, you can't
Yeah.
replace America, and we are literally we are about to lose it. We are losing it as we speak. It
Yeah.
is disappearing.
I think the damage that has been done in many ways is irreversible. And I don't say that to be a pessimist or a downer or whatever. That's the bad news. The good news is the damage is irreversible. And now, instead of going back to some status quo that was leaving a lot of Americans in the cold, now we have a chance to rebuild what they destroyed and build it in a way that doesn't leave people out. There's
Yeah,
no reason that this many people should be unhoused in this country. There's no reason that we should have the most expensive healthcare in the developed world that's about to triple. That's evil. It's evil to make a single working mom pay 3 times more than the next most expensive healthcare in the world. And so we've got to kind of tear it to the studs and rebuild it. And that's where people like, these young progressives that are winning offices, and I realize some moderates won too, but that younger voice and energy, that's who needs to lead the party.
yeah.
We've
Well,
got to get over.
that's what's a great thing. I mean, I talked about this earlier. It's like a moral chemicalization, right? All the filth, all of what has been so broken about our system frankly, across the fucking political spectrum. Because I mean, I do not hold Democrats, I do not leave them out of
100%.
responsibility here at all. All of that, we have an opportunity because of how obviously egregious this administration is. So much of that latent corruption that has been going on for years across the spectrum is coming to light, and we have an opportunity to just clean house and
Yeah.
redo it all. And that's what we got to do. Let's talk about some of the Antifa matters of business that we have to take care of, because Cliff and I are literally, we've got this incredible coalition that Cliff has been so instrumental in bringing together, of creators and volunteers, a lot of them at Flare, a lot of them at Sons of Liberty and Citizens Impeachment, all of our coalition partners working absolutely for not a dime. Everybody that is coming is working for not a dime, contributing their time and talent for not a dime. Nobody is getting paid a dime. However, that said, we have to dish out somewhere around like $70,000 to make this all happen. This is not free. We are doing 3 days.
And let me jump in. That's just for Saturday. We also have
Yeah.
events Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night.
Yeah,
So
that's what I
it's
was about to say. 3 days of events, 5 venues. It costs a lot of money. And so we need your help. We need your help. We could not do this without you. So many of you have been so generous already in supporting us and donating. We're getting there, but we are not there yet. So Cliff had this brilliant idea of building in these nighttime events that are fundraisers so that those people who are going to give money anyway would have a really good time and get to meet a lot of us. So Cliff, tell us, you made us this graphic. I'll stick this up for a minute here. Tell us about the different opportunities for donors on those 3 nights.
Yeah, so like you said, my thought process behind this was we've done this a lot. We've brought people to DC many times, and it's like you show up, you protest all day, you kind of wear yourself out, and then you just sort of do your own thing at night. And I'm guessing that a lot of people just kind of go back to a hotel and veg out and rest and wait for the next day. But I just thought, I think this time, being that we're trying to make this the biggest thing we've done, let's also send these people home having had some fun, because it does feel good to be out protesting and marching and marching into the halls of Congress and
Mhm.
being at these veterans events. It feels good to know you're not alone. It feels good to be unified. It feels good to network with people and be with like-minded people. But we never do anything at night. And so my thought process behind this was, we have to raise some money somehow. If we weren't doing this, it would just be us on social media asking you to send money because we didn't have another real plan.
Right.
So the idea is Thursday night is a happy hour. It's a meet and greet with some of the biggest political content creators on the internet. Jessica and I will both be there. Father Nathan Monk will be there. John Pavlovitz, Elizabeth Booker Houston, Booker Squared, Mermaid Mama Maggie, Jolly Good Ginger, U.S. Army Overlord, Cats on a Couch, USMC Angry Veteran, Official Empathy Tour. I mean, like literally more than I can list, but people that you likely follow and admire. And I know because I follow them and I admire them. I'm excited to meet them too. So anyone that makes $1,000 donation will be getting into that event to hang out with all of us, to have tacos and margs, and we're going to have a whole place to ourselves. And then if you make that level of donation, you'll also get into the other 2 nighttime events. So on Friday night, I'm headlining a comedy show. We're calling it Comedy Church, a political comedy catharsis. John Pavlovitz is going to open the show with a serious foreword and maybe a prayer. My friend Larry Fulford, who's a great comedian out of Orlando, Florida, is going to host the show. Elizabeth Booker Houston is a great political comedian and a really effective activist and personality. And then, of course, Father Nathan Monk, who was a priest and walked away from the priesthood to become a humorist and writer, and now tours with Stormy Daniels. John Pavlovitz also is a pastor and has now written 3 books that I know of, because I have 3 of them. And he might have written more that I don't know about yet, but incredible guy. All these people are incredible people. That's going to be really fun. That is actually happening in a church. So that's why we're calling it Comedy Church. It looks like there's less than 100 tickets left to that. So that's awesome. That's huge. You got to get those because that is going to sell out. And we do have VIP access to that night as well. So VIP access is preferred seating. We're going to let you in early before, a little bit before the doors for everyone else so that you can get in there and get your seat. And you'll also get to meet me and John and Nathan and Elizabeth and Larry after the show, and probably some other influencers that are going to be there. So $500 donation gets you into comedy and music on Saturday. And then, so that's basically kind of like 250 per event, and that's VIP access. And then if you make a $300 donation, you can get VIP access into either of those 2 events. And I want to be really clear about this. This is not just a big ticket thing. There are general admission tickets to the comedy and the music for 45 bucks. So on Saturday night, this is going to kind of be our wrap party, basically. Wrap with a W, as in we're wrapping up the weekend, but there is also going to be rap with an R.
With an R.
So we've got country music, this cool sort of electronic pop, hip hop spoken word. We've got punk, we've got country, we've got hip hop. I mean, it's really kind of every genre of music and all on one stage. That's going to be a cash bar. Again, if you do that VIP donation, you get in a little early, you get seating, whereas everybody else is standing room. And you're going to get to meet these musicians and myself and some of the other people hanging around that you might like to meet. So, the bottom line is it worth $1,000 to meet me? Absolutely not. I would never tell you otherwise. It might be worth a solid 20. The important thing is you're donating to this cause. You're helping this happen. This is just Saturday alone. Forget these 3 shows we just talked about. Saturday alone it's like throwing a big outdoor concert. I mean, this is going to be a big concert level stage, porta-john, security, sound, big screens, generators. You can kind of use your imagination to sort of add all that up in your head. It's not cheap, and it's certainly not free. So your support means a lot.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And it's also just, goes back to this is like totally people powered. There's no outside influence here whatsoever, which was really what makes it so cool. And I just want to give just a technical note for any of the donors to either through the website, the VIP donations go through the website, removetheregime.com. Everything goes through the website, removetheregime.com. But there's a donation option there, which is where you can do the VIP options for 1,300 or 500. The ticketed options for the general admission, that there's only a few hundred, maybe 100 left for each night. They are linked to there. At the moment, when you make the donation or when you purchase the ticket, you will not yet get the location. We are going to be emailing the location next week. So don't be worried about, I don't know where I'm going, I haven't heard from you. We will let you know next week. It's just a matter of, OPSEC that we're not putting it out for everybody and not putting it out early. But don't worry, if you have purchased a ticket or made a donation of 300, 500, or 1,000, you will be hearing from us with the exact location in Washington, D.C. for your event or events.
And OPSEC means operational security. We're just trying to keep everybody safe.
Yes. And that's another thing we have to pay for
until I started doing activism. So
sorry about that. That's another thing we have to pay for. Security, by the way, one of the many, many, many expenses. So, So you guys are making it possible. Thank you so much. Like I said, we're so grateful and have seen a lot of support so far, but we're still quite a ways from where we need to be. So the more that you can spread the word, the more that you can send people to removetheregime.com. If there are people, obviously we want everybody, we want bodies in DC, but if you know people that just simply cannot make it and they want to support us and they have the financial ability, we obviously don't want anybody who's struggling too much themselves to give their last dime to us. But if you know people who are able, send them there. We would love that. Everything is at removetheregime.com.
100%. I always tell people, so we've both been raising money off and on since January, because we've been going after this regime since then. And I've personally raised a lot for digital billboard trucks. I made a website called Donald Loves Vladimir, and I made another one called Epstein's Best Friend. And I designed some graphics and put those on billboard trucks and ran them around DC and West Palm. And you guys have been really generous supporting that. But I always tell people, if money is tight, don't send me money. You keep your money and do what you need to do with it. There are plenty of people in this country who really got to experience the United States in its heyday. And they bought nice houses for $35,000, and they had pensions and retirement and all this real estate appreciation, and now they're sitting pretty, and they know that, and that's okay. And some of them are maybe like old enough to where they don't feel like they can travel and march and all that, but they really want to help. And it's important to those people to feel like they're helping, and we're really grateful for them to send it. So it like makes me feel good, but also kind of sad. When I get a $5 donation, I'm like, man, I hope this was not
I
somebody
know.
that like could only afford to send $5. If that's the case, I sincerely want you to
But it's
hang on
also
to your
really sweet because it's like they just
it's
wanted to
super
do
sweet.
something to show that they support, which we
100%.
love to. Yeah.
100%. But I want those, you are who we are fighting for, and you need to
Yes.
keep that money, and you can support us by sharing stuff online. I also want to ask everybody watching real quick, if you don't mind, take the poster, especially the one that's 1120-22. I'm
I'll pull it
sure,
up here. I'll pull it up here
yeah,
while you're talking.
and it's all over both of our social media. If you don't mind, take that and make that your profile picture. I've been asking people to do that for a week or so now, and it's really spreading. I've seen every time I go and look in the comments of my stuff now, everybody looks the same because they all have removed the regime as their profile picture. But that's one of those things that it can really take off if you guys make that your profile picture and ask your like-minded friends to do the same. Those are the types of things that have tipping points, and all of a sudden a million people make that their profile picture, and it just makes a massive difference for the event. The other thing I would like to ask, if you are near Baltimore or Annapolis or Bethesda, Silver Spring, Fredericksburg, Richmond, even Philadelphia, we are at a point now where we're 5 days out, and we really need to zero in on those kind of satellite cities of DC. It's unlikely that somebody at this late hour is going to decide to fly in from Alaska, but we can still reach these people who are in these cities close to DC. And we really, really need those people to turn out and to spread the word. So if you're in those cities or know people who are, please, please, please spread the word to them. That's really important.
Yeah, if you could spread the word, if you could, we have a crew that's doing flyering all over DC, but if you are in one of those satellite cities and you can do some flyering for us around there, that would be amazing. I mean, just think if we just get the crowds that were in Richmond, DC, Philly, these other cities in the DC suburbs on No King's Day into DC on 11/22, and hopefully starting on 11/20. I mean, we're going to knock this out of the park. So we just need, in this final stretch, we really need your help in pushing that and getting those massive numbers that will make this event actually mean something and make a difference.
And our daytime events, Jessica may have already covered this, but we're going to lead citizens into Congress on the 20th at 10 a.m. We'll have a short meeting to kind of tell you about how that works and how to do it effectively. But we are going to break the record ever in the history of this country for the amount of citizens led into Congress to citizen lobby for impeachment. We will be literally setting a record. So if you can make it to this, you're going to be part of history. We're going to make history that day. The next day, we're going to have a big veterans event at 2:00. And earlier in the day on that Friday, there's going to be some training that kind of shows you how to take what we're doing in DC with the citizen lobbying and to take that home with you, and to really kind of get in these people's faces when they are in their home offices. And then of course Saturday is the big event.
Yep, Saturday, the big event, which was not updated as of when we had that poster, but it's at the Lincoln Memorial, baby. We're going to be there. So come join us. And this is really a full circle moment for me and Cliff. And I think Ken and I were talking about this, how, at first, so many people might not show up and you might just be discouraged, but you have to keep trying. And this takes me back to where you and I started in January. As you said, this administration should never have come into existence. It should have been blocked from the outset, which is how you and I met and what we tried to get Congress to do back in January. And we started off for 3 days in January in the bitter cold at a park and at Lincoln Memorial with about, I don't know, probably less than 100 people, barely able to feel our feet. And I think I'm pretty confident we're gonna well outdo that this time. So
Fingers crossed.
Don't give up. don't be discouraged. We are at such an incredible moment right here. And what I'm always saying, Cliff, and you've heard me say this on other shows we've been on together, like, I feel like this whole predicament that we find ourselves in is a failure to recognize our own power and our own agency.
Yeah.
And it's literally just a matter of us having that mental and moral awakening that we can do this. Yeah.
100%. And this is not a regular moment in U.S. history. This is not a normal presidency. This is not a typical problem. And so we can't solve this problem through typical means. We have to be, we don't need Chuck Schumer's strongly worded letters or Democrats caving or people at the State of the Union holding up popsicle signs. We need citizens like you to march shoulder to shoulder with us into the halls of Congress, to go into their offices and say, we are forever going to hold you to account. You have enabled fascism, and when it fails, you will be held accountable. We're done with this guy. Support impeachment. And let me tell you, no Republican's going to get on board for impeachment until we get every Democrat on board for impeachment. And that is the absolute bare minimum that every Democratic leader should be doing right now. Why on earth would any Democrat have an issue supporting impeachment for a president who has the lowest polling numbers in recorded American history? His polling right now is lower than right after January 6th, which of course means it's lower than it was after COVID and when he lost in 20. So, I mean, again, this is a guy that's on the ropes, and it's time to throw the uppercut. And this 3-day event could really, really be that uppercut. This could be the death knell that starts the unraveling of the. I mean, this thing's already unraveling. We got to kick it down the stairs. It's this could really be such terrible optics, because I've been saying this a lot too. These people, we call them leaders, but they're not. They're not at all. They're followers. And we see that throughout history. They did not give women the right to vote. Women fought for it. They did not give the gay community the right to marry. They fought for it. They didn't give workers' rights. Unions fought for it. Everything that has been given.
They didn't end slavery. We fought for it. Yep.
Exactly. Everything that has been given to the people was very much not given. It was fought for, and it was taken. And it's time to It's time to fight for what we want right now. And the way this happens is these people do what they think is going to help them keep their job. So you have to show up with us and say, look, the only way you have any chance of keeping your job if you're a Democrat is to support impeachment. The only way you have any chance of keeping your job as a Republican is to release the Epstein files and to get on board with impeachment. And we give you our word. We give you our word. If you don't do that, all of us are going to do everything in our power to make sure you lose your job. And then we're going to do everything in our power to hold you accountable for supporting and enabling fascism. And we mean that in every sense of the word, in every way that the human mind can fathom the word accountability.
100%, 100%. I have been the drumbeat on impeachment because there is a way, you want a way out of this? Article 2, Section 4, it's written into our Constitution, and nobody that has sworn an oath to it has an excuse for 1 second to not be invoking impeachment against Donald Trump. It is a disgrace that they would not have done multiple articles of impeachment up until this point. Yeah.
It's not time. It's way past time.
Past time.
And again, guys, this only works if you help us. You got to help us. You got to show up. You got to get people to show up.
Yeah.
If we have stifling numbers in DC, this will be the proverbial shot heard around the world. People will be talking about this in other countries, because these conversations that Jess and I are having right now, that you're listening to, the conversations that you have at your dinner table, the conversations that you have with your friends when you're out on the weekend, what are we going to do about this guy? How are we going to get rid of this guy? I need you to understand that retired military intelligence folks are also having those conversations. military people are also having those conversations. Our allies in other countries are also having those conversations. It is our job, our number one job, and our most important job to give them the optics that they need to do what has to be done. And the way that we do that is to shut this city down and to throw that knockout punch to this stumbling, diaper-wearing, cankle pedophile.
You always give us such a good visual, Cliff. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I mean, I'd like to actually get it out of my mind. So that's the thing. We all want it out of our mind forever. We want Trump. I've been saying this. I used to say this a lot. I haven't said it for a long time. I just want Trump to be the sound that a trumpet makes. Can we just get back to that, please?
Yeah. Yeah.
Get this ridiculous insult of my God, poor, pathetic insult of a human being out of our lives for once and for all. All right, my friend, tell me.
I was just going to say, one of the things that we're reading in these most recent Epstein emails, and I'd already heard this months or years before, but there's one moment where Jeffrey Epstein says, "This guy is devoid of goodness. He's truly the most terrible person."
Oh, let me put it up there. I'm actually going to read it. I was going to read this earlier, but I didn't. He said, "This is Epstein said that Donald Trump." He said to former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers, "I have met some very bad people. None as bad as Trump. Not one decent cell in his body. So yes, dangerous, evil, and nuts."
When Jeffrey Epstein thinks you're a terrible guy,
saying something. Yeah.
It doesn't get much lower than that.
All right, everybody, removetheregime.com, removetheregime.com. You have those flyers. Change your profile pic, email Rachel Maddow, spread the word far and wide, especially if you are anywhere in the vicinity of Washington, D.C. within a 2 or 3 or 4 hour drive. We're counting on you. We love you so much. Thank you all so much for being part of this with us. I'll see you soon, Cliff.
See you real soon.
Thank you, everybody, for joining me and Ken Casey and Cliff tonight on Lights On. As always, I feel like I've got so much for you guys tonight. But if you're really generous and really just your cup is overflowing, I want to let you guys know I also have an ongoing legal battle, as you know, against the Trump campaign. I am appealing a case that was wrongfully dismissed after I fought all those years to have those NDAs thrown out. My underlying case, I have to appeal to this day, and that in itself is an expensive fight. If you want to help me with that, you can do it at thejessicadenson.com/donate. I also created some merch just for Remove the Regime. It is up here on the screen and available at thejessicadenson.com. As I mentioned last week, those of you who make purchases of $100 or more, I'm going to put you in a raffle to come to the comedy and music show. If you make a donation of $300 or more, I'm going to pick one person to be my +1 at that influencer event on Thursday night. And that is one way that you can help me going, because as we all said, there's no check from Antifa, and this show is my bread and butter. So thank you guys so much. Thank you as always for your support. Show up on 11/22. We can do this. It's really just up to us. How much are we willing to put into this right now? Let's do it, my friends. Have a wonderful weekend. And as always, let your light shine.